wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jello, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format. That was the trailer, ladies and gentlemen, for The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr. Available on Amazon Kindle. Come in. We also are going to let you know to subscribe. Also, the place to be, of course, is like beat. Cause on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll feel the groove. Get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the floor, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Get on the floor. I'm here with you. You're here with me. Welcome to Tuesday night right here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting edition of Random Topics. On channel my nose that's muffled. That's me. That's muffled. I'm under the weather, Tyleen. Can y'all hear me? Okay. If my mic sounds muffled, let's do this. Okay, because the mic is all the way up. So that means when I got the volume turned up, you all will hear it very clearly. Clearly, clearly, clearly. All right. How's that? Okay. All right. We're gonna go ahead and get this one started, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, I want to talk about this while it's fresh in my mind. Now, this brother, of course, we talked about the death of Kevin Samuels, and uh, your Vivica A. Fox, aka uh, Madam Bustdown, had some choice words to say about about Kevin Samuels on her Fox Soul show, which you can watch that. Cool. She was on with Marlon Wayans, who was discussing the death of Kevin Samuels, and Marlon Wayans, along with T.I. and a few others, but particularly defended Kevin Samuels in death because your Kevin Samuels, of course, was being attacked uh, as he was just recently deceased. And I discussed this. I had people I knew who were celebrating uh, literally his death. It's one thing if you didn't like the man. Am I asking people to mourn him, to mourn his passing? No, if how you feel is how you feel. I can't control that. But what I was talking about specifically was how people were attacking him in death and particular celebrating his being deceased, which is something you do not do. Uh, I did not celebrate Rush Limbaugh dying, despite the fact that I did not like Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh, as you know, was a white supremacist pig. However, I didn't say I'm glad he's dead. I didn't go out applauding it, thank you God for killing that bastard, anything like that. That's not how I was. I was like, I sipped tea. I carried on. I didn't mourn it. But a lot of people and looked up to Kevin Samuels, and Kevin Samuels, listen, a man who has 1.4 million subscribers, and you is more than a shock jock. And in this clip, you'll see why I said a shock jock, because you should listen very carefully to what your Vivica A. Fox says. Now, this is courtesy of Fox Soul through our brother Night and Day Network, who did a nice video talking about your Vivica Ratchet Fox. Let's go ahead and play that. We're going to hit that copyright disclaimer, of course, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use, which this is. It is commentary. I don't own the rights to the music, but this is commentary here. So
was a hypocrite. In my honest opinion, he really was. I didn't find anything about him to be healing. He insulted African American women on a consistent basis. One of his last statements that he said was that if you're over 38 and you haven't married or something like that, that you're no good and disposable. To me, he was a shock jock. And, I hope this is teaching folks a lesson about the karma that you put out, the negativity that you put out in the world, that when karma comes knocking at your door, she might not be so kind. So, the fact that he killed over real quick and was supposedly with a woman that we don't yet know the nationality, rest in peace.
Come on now, Miss Vivica Fox. You know damn well you wasn't no regular viewer of Kevin Samuel. You just repeating stuff you overheard everybody else said in the clips that was put out there. First of all, you misquoted the whole clip of what he said, that women over 35 are considered leftovers. You know what I'm saying? From a standpoint of majority of how men view things. And you know what I'm saying, I don't totally even agree with that, what Kevin Samuel said, but you sitting up there talking about karma, like everybody's gonna die. So you mean everybody got karma coming to them? And every human is a goddamn hypocrite. So I don't know how you sitting up there on Fox Soul High Mighty in your queen chair talking about he got what he deserved. Like, you the same one that out here talking like you ate 50 Cent ass. You just putting his sex business out, bedroom business out there. You know what I'm saying? You the same one that sat up there and said you ate 50 Cent ass. Come on, man. Now I just feel like y'all just saying any old thing against this man because he's dead. He can't even defend himself. And now you just saying things for the simple fact that you just hearing stuff that was that people's been saying out here. You ain't never viewed his videos fully in context. They
Right.
even say anything like that.
Brother is right, speaking facts. Now, most people who I had started listening to Kevin Samuels after hello Bishop Scott, how you doing? I was listening to Kevin Samuels actually for a little while. I was not a follower of his necessarily. I listened to some stuff he said, particular when I paid real close attention to him was when he was talking about Will Smith and the Oscar fiasco that happened over a month and a half ago. And I was really impressed with what this man was saying. And I looked at some of the videos that he had. Some of it was funny. Like when he had these women on talking about calling one lady Big Shirley. Uh, and I saw him talk about what the hell is wrong with you? Why you think that you deserve a man and you built like a linebacker? You about to run the I formation. And people saw that as mean. But it was the thing, though. Out of all the videos he has done, he has equally and started to, and our brother, shout out to brother Dennis Sperling. Dennis is an attorney and a friend of mine. He's based out of Houston. He has his own channel, Dennis Sperling Unfiltered. He has over 20,000 subscribers, and he represents uh, I'm not going to say he represents the estate as their lawyer, but he represents the family of Kevin Samuels to be the family spokesperson because he was friends with Kevin. And he has uh, consistently defended Brother Kevin Samuels because to speak of someone ill in death makes it makes your character you look even worse than the person that you're disparaging because you're defaming the dead. And it's the same. Look, all the women I've noticed that have come out, like I talked about uh, Miss Alicia. Yeah, I don't give a damn no more. This heifer that got mad at me because I called her out, or really, I wasn't even calling her out. I was calling out people who were attacking and really celebrating this man's death. And about how he was a vile, vicious person. No, no, you're vile. You see, the truth hurts, and when someone speaks the truth, especially when you've been doing it for so long, when you've been doing wrong for such a long time, it eats at you when somebody can come at you and hold the mirror up to you. And that's what Kevin Samuels was doing. He was holding up a mirror to he was holding it up to black society because that was his base. He was holding it up against women. He was holding it up against men as well, but even women. He wanted black men to be better. Now, this is coming from somebody who wasn't a follower of his, and there was some things I didn't like that Kevin Samuels said and did. You know, I remember, and I saw someone showing me a video. He interviewed Brittany Renner, and I mean, we're talking about modern women and trifling, being trifling and so forth. He was real close and cutty with Brittany Renner. But and some stuff I think he quoted and supported Thomas Sowell, who was a staunch conservative. The business was even talking about that. Jason Black mentioned that. I was not a fan of that. Thomas Sowell is a traitor. Thomas Sowell flat up is an enemy to black people. So I can't see how anybody would support him. But I'm not going to celebrate someone's death. I don't do that. You should not do that. Bishop, if you want to come on, hold on a second. Bishop, check your Facebook Messenger. You want to come on briefly and say a few words. But this was a man, as Dennis, brother Dennis was talking about, this is a man who was trying to create businesses. he was trying to develop a staunch, uh, empire, and he was working 23 days. Now, how he died and so forth, of course, has been a mystery. Nobody exactly knows what happened other than what's been reported in the police report and the 911 call that was released. I listened to it, and this RN, uh, beautiful lady, her name is Hortensia Alcantara. She was apparently with him. She was RN. She's 32 years old. Let me show you a picture of her. I'd go into cardiac arrest if I had this with me too. Damn, I could see why, Kevin. They say Kevin came and went at the same time. I'm hearing from what I'm hearing. I don't know the fact, but this was not someone he was spending. From my understanding, he was not spending a one night stand. Let me put a disclaimer on it. I think they were in a relationship of some kind, from what I'm hearing. They knew each other, so this was not a one night stand. Uh, if it were, I don't know, and that's not my business. But that's what rumors are circulating. But I don't know exactly. But I think they were, from what I heard and what Dennis Berlin stated. Uh, it seems like they were in a relationship together. Uh, and she's a pretty woman. And apparently, when I listened to the 911 call, just going off the 911 call, sounds like, oh yes, hello, yeah, she's gorgeous. And Miss Hortensia, as we speak, she has actually put her Facebook, Instagram on private because she has been inundated with, obviously, messages, posts, memes, and so forth about her role. Is that people even accusing her of playing a role in it? And she, of course, didn't like it. And she actually has here, uh, I'll show you her IG that she has set to private. She actually posted this, said, people leave me and my family alone, please. And she's out in Atlanta. So this is her. You know, she switched it to private, apparently. But, I don't know the circumstances of what happened. But to get back to what, yeah, she's she's gorgeous. Well, here's the thing: we won't know anything, any final results, until we get a police report, until we get, excuse me, a medical report. And the 911 call, of course, was released earlier this week, over the weekend. I'll go ahead and play that for you. I don't know if anyone has heard it, but this is the 911 call.
This morning, for the first time, we're hearing the 911 call that was made moments before a popular social media influencer last breaths. This is someone taking their last breath, so it is hard to listen to.
I think I'm not sure what it is, but just he's not breathing. I'm trying to give him CPR, and he's breathing now, but I think he has a regular rhythm. Please hurry. I'm a nurse, but I'm trying to give him CPR. Come on, Kelly, you got it. Oh, come on, just try to breathe. Come on, you got it. Come on, think about your mom. Think about your daughter. Let's go.
The 17-minute-long 911 call ended with dispatch continuing to give directions as first responders made their way to the apartment. The woman who made the call told authorities it was her first time at Samuel's Buckhead home. Atlanta police say she told them Kevin complained of chest pains the night before. The next morning, she says he fell over, which is why she called 911. Samuels died last Thursday.
Okay, so according to a police report, they're saying that she said it was her first night at his Buckhead home. But I don't know if they had, let's say, he could have. Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, he could have spent the night at her house. Who knows? But you have women like Vivica A. Fox. Let's get back to her, who issued these remarks about what Kevin Samuels has said. And let's look at what he has said. First and foremost, just getting back to it, you all know I have a talk show here. Kevin Samuels has a talk show there. Obviously, he had a much bigger following than me, but he allowed people to call in. When you call into these shows, let me just ask you, for those that call into my show, are you forced to call into my show? Do I put a gun to your head and tell you you need to call in or else I'm going to kill you? Do you get coerced into calling into my show? Or hell, even watching it? The answer, of course, would be no. I was looking for people in the chat to say no. But, and in this case with Kevin Samuels, it's obvious that the women who called in, Bishop Scott, check your Facebook Messenger. The women who would call in obviously did not have a problem with calling into his show. They called in multiple times. I saw women on his platform asking questions. Some of his biggest followers were women. I saw women who were actually upset that Kevin had died. Now, everybody is upset because you're saying, oh, he was vile, he had all this vitriol for women, but why are all these women following him? Marlon Wayans actually defended your Kevin Samuels. He said he offered more than what met the eye. He said, if you hate it, why tune in? Because healing comes in many forms. His way was some nasty ass tasting medicine. There's no right and wrong in this love story. Well, he really said love shit. There's just discovery. Thank you for those you healed, and we forgive you if there were any damages because we know your intention was to heal. I mean, all the shit Vivica A. Fox is talking about, we've had as men. See, here's the thing, and the reason why a lot of men love Kevin Samuels, and I see this now, why they love O'Shea Duke Jackson and Dennis Sperling, myself, is because men have a voice that they didn't have in the 80s and 90s. You women, ladies, had Oprah. You had Oprah ass Winfrey talking shit about men every day, in particular black men. People have been putting Oprah on game for years about how she treats black men, how she treats brothers. Remember, she didn't even have any rappers come on her show. She was on the air for 25 years and not had one rapper. When Ice Cube did the show Black or White, Ice Cube was not even invited, but she invited that entire cast, despite the fact that Ice Cube created the show. I had to listen to bullshit upon bullshit. You ladies will listen to Steve Harvey. It's not just Oprah, Steve Harvey. Y'all get relationship advice from a man that's been divorced 3 times. Yeah, your ass, see, you got to wait 90 days, ladies. Your ass better wait some 90 days so you can give up that cooch. Because if a man love your ass, see, if he love your ass, his ass gonna wait on you like I waited on Sid to bring my bags. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm from Cleveland, y'all. Y'all don't understand. 90 days for some cooch. And you know Steve Harvey didn't wait no 90 days on no cooch. He didn't wait no 90 days to put them lips on a girl. But I'm sure Steve Harvey wouldn't even like, I don't know what he says, but to talk about somebody that's deceased. And Vivica A. Fox, she's been for the street. She's never been the same since 50 Cent got rid of her ass. You know, I like Vivica because she stayed on code with the Cosby thing when she was interviewed by Vlad. She didn't want to talk, but to disparage somebody talking about karma Karma comes to lecture us all, even to you. That applies to you, your career in Hollywood. We got a special guest now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna bring him in. Let's bring in the brother Bishop Scott. Bishop, how you doing this evening? You got to connect your mic, Bishop. Bishop, we can't hear you. Hold on. Hello? Yeah, something wrong with your microphone, Bishop. I can't hear you. What you have to say? I don't know what's wrong, but why don't you try come back in? Try and come back in. Maybe that might work. What's going on, Lamiko? Yeah, I can't hear you, Bishop. So what I would recommend is what I recommend, because the mic is on. I see your mic is on. Is I'm gonna remove you. Leave the StreamYard and come back in. I'm gonna come back in and use the same link. So just leave the studio and try and come back in. All right. We got Brother Bishop Scott. He's trying to come in, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, what do y'all think of Vivica A. Fox? Vivica B-list Fox. She's on the B list. I mean, certainly that was just disparaging what she said about Brother Kevin Samuels. And
have you sat there and actually watched any of this man's videos fully through? They even make any type of statements that you're making up there? Come on, man. And a lot of people that's speaking ill against this man most likely didn't even watch his videos all the way through. They just seen the clips that everybody else took out, edited out to bash him. They never watched this man's videos in full context to get what he was talking about. And this ain't even me defending Kevin Samuels.
Bishop?
Yep.
All right, that's much, much better.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can
Good
hear
evening.
you now. Good evening, Brother Gavin. How you making out?
All right, thank you for joining us this late evening. I'm doing all right, hanging in there.
I know that's right.
Yeah. What do you have to say?
Very good conversation so far in the show.
Thank you.
I agree with you. I mean, I'm not one to down the dead. If you're not allowed to defend yourself, I don't think it's right to criticize. I mean, we're not saying, we all know that there was problems with what he had to say in many regards. I'm like you. I never followed him, but I have seen clips. I have seen episodes of one or two of his programmings, and just like you're saying, I mean, and I'm like you. I have a program that people call in as well, and those who call in are expecting to have some kind of feedback. I mean, you can't call into a program and not have feedback from the host. So most of them knew who Kevin Samuels was when they called. They knew where he stood, and they still wanted to hear his advice, wanted to hear his suggestions, wanted to hear his thoughts. Right. So I mean, when you go into something and you know what you're going into, you can't criticize when someone says something that you don't particularly care for, or even the way they say it to you. I mean, I grant you that there's many times I felt he was insulting. There were times that I thought he could have been more diplomatic, more passive in his approach. But nevertheless, many things he says, I agree with. Well, quite a few things. I'll put it like that, because I haven't heard him that much to say that, make that bold statement. But what I have heard, I've agreed with some of the things that he did say. About men and women, because he started off with men.
Right. That's how his earliest videos were. He was an image consultant. So
right, exactly.
I mean, as far as the rumors they're saying about him dying broke, my estimates, if you bring in Bishop, if you have 1.4 million subscribers on YouTube, you're bringing in revenue from YouTube alone. The streams there might bring in between $25 or $50,000 a month, depending on how many people you have, because YouTube has its advertising and their sharing program with YouTubers. So if you get over a certain amount of followers, you also have to factor in he was getting sponsorships as well. He had colognes that he would wear because he would be advertising it for them. So people were paying it for them. So he
And
was
then
going.
he was on other people's programs. I'm sure some of those he got some payment for being on those shows.
Yes, he did.
Prominent show he was on.
If
I'm
you
sure he got a little bit of stipend of some sort.
right,
Those shows,
if you went on his show, look, Dennis Berlin speaks highly of him, and I know Dennis personally. Dennis has stated the man was trying to show them how to build up their business. Why he wanted them to wear black men to dress a certain way. Even though he was a Kappa, but he was trying to build up, make connections with fellow black men, fellow black YouTubers, and I can respect that. And he flew them out to New York and had them meet with other YouTubers and how they could grow their business. And he did that also. I mean, the lead attorney has talked about it. Dennis has talked about it. Their channels have grown because of him. So he has done some positive things. And I'm seeing more people focus on the negative. I lost a friend, but she really wasn't a friend because all I said was, I think it's disgusting to talk about him in death. And obviously, if you are this is somebody in their 60s that want to argue with me back and forth over Kevin Samuels. Now, you think about that for a minute. You're that upset over a man you've never met, over words that he said on his show.
True.
Said, when I know half of these women will go up there and listen to Oprah badmouth brothers.
Oh yeah.
Now, I didn't like now they have been people that are comparing him and have posters of him and Malcolm X and Dr. King. I said, well, stop. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. But he was an influential YouTuber, and I feel heartbroken for his daughter because he had a child. He was a father. He was somebody's son. His mother is still alive. The daughter is not going to have her father walk her down the aisle. A mother's not going to be able to talk to her son anymore. Or I don't know what siblings he has, but if he had any, but he has.
He was a only child of his mother, and he had 10 brothers and sisters on his father's
side. Okay, so
yeah, but not on the mother.
Well, still, he might have a relationship with them.
I'm sure he does.
He was somebody's brother, yeah, but he was also a friend to fellow YouTubers. So I feel sorry for him. That's not something I wish on anybody, and he died very young. So
very much so.
Yeah, and 53 years old. As for Vivica Fox, she hadn't been the same since 50 Cent dumped her. So,
well, sometimes where you live, can alter your brain waves. You know what I'm saying? Your brain's can be affected that way. So you just don't know what happened there. But nevertheless,
50 got tired of her. She was old enough to be. She was older than 50, and 50 was hollering at her. He didn't want that. So after a while, he got tired.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, because she's in her 50. I think she's 58 years old. So I mean, she's
58. Yeah, when she was messing with 50 had just come on the scene. He was in his mid-20s or something like that.
Yeah.
So
you think about it. It's about 20 years difference between the two of them.
Yeah, about 15 years.
20 years. That's right. That's right.
12 years. Yeah, something like that. So yeah. All right, but y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Do y'all think I'm gonna put a poll up right now on my YouTube channel? I want to know what did you all think of Vivica A. Fox's remarks? Was she out of pocket? Yes or no? You think most people?
I wish you'd have gotten her facts straight. Some of the things she said were so. As soon as you played it, I said, "That's not what he said." Some of the things he said, I quoted him saying, and I think that the commentator, the host that was presenting this clip, was very right. I mean, if you're going to talk about somebody, it looked like she was just she knew him through sound bites, a little bit here, a little bit there, kind of thing. And of course, when you do it that way, since you haven't heard it directly, you misquote. You really misquote. So I think sometimes you just have to be careful what you say. And why down somebody? They're dead. I mean, they're gone. Whatever influence or lack of the same they had, it's over now. They will not be anymore. They will not be having any more new content coming
Right.
out anymore. So they're through. It's all over. I just don't think you take this time, in particular, right now. Maybe down the road, we all critique everybody, but not within a week of his dying. You jump on the bandwagon so quickly, and I'm like you, Gavin. You need to understand who he is first before you
Right.
make blanketed statements about, because you said some of the things that he does that were redeemable. Some of the young people that he helped, and other things of that nature. That's redeemable. So you can't judge a book just by what you see, for 5-10 minutes on a YouTube channel. You can't gauge a person for real, by
Right.
just what on YouTube.
It's like what they did with Cam Newton when he was talking about the modern woman and can you cook, clean, or you holding the house down, and women took that to be sexist, but it was it was 10, 15 seconds of an hour interview that he did where they were just talking randomly, but people ran with it just like they ran with the soundbite when he was talking about that reporter, the female reporter who knew information, and they said he was sexist to her, but they pulled up her tweets and she's saying some white supremacist shit. So, excuse my French, Bishop, but that's the type of. But I mean, it can go both ways. So I mean, yeah, when you talking about someone, please do your research first
Yeah.
before you speak ill of the dead. Now let's move on. So I'm looking at the poll right now, Bishop. The poll actually, I got 6 votes. 83% of people, when I asked was Vivica Fox out of pocket, you all said yes. So we got yes.
Mhm.
83% said yes. 17% said no.
Okay.
So, but the majority has it so far.
A strong majority, 80-something%. That's a strong majority so far.
Right. Tyree says what I respect about Kevin, he was unapologetic in the age of ego and cancel culture.
Mm.
He was respected. Well, he said what I respect about Kevin. They caused Kevin Samuels to be a martyr. Well, they keep talking about Kevin Samuels. Guess what? More people are going to go and watch his video. So all you're doing really is hyping him up. He'll actually probably be more famous, sadly to say, in death than in life.
And most times that's the case. Most
Yes.
times that's the case. People want to know. They're looking up more now. I would venture to say there was a time when they didn't even have that. People didn't even know who he was. A YouTuber. There's a lot of people don't even know about YouTube in terms of that.
The deputy commander of the Ukraine.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Bishop. Finish.
no, that's fine.
So, yeah, you're right. I'm going to move on to our next topic, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Bishop Scott also has a show on Blog Talk called Real Talk with the G-Man that comes on Wednesday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you all please be sure to check out his platform.
Thank you.
But we want to talk about this. So you're most welcome. I always shout out my family stuff. So what's going on now, ladies and gentlemen? I want to talk about this while I got Bishop on. The congressional Democrats are preparing a plan that would boost Joe Biden's requested $33 billion Ukraine aid package to nearly $40 billion, and a House vote is possible as Tuesday. Two people familiar with lawmakers thinking said. In a retreat, Biden conceded the package should not contain any of the additional billions he's requested to combat COVID-19. Republicans, whose backing would be crucial to pushing legislation through the evenly divided Senate, have opposed adding the money to the Ukraine aid. We cannot afford delay in this vital war effort, Biden said in a written statement. Hence, I'm prepared to accept that these two measures move separately so that the Ukrainian aid bill can get to my desk right away. Biden said he has nearly exhausted his authority to continue shipping military aid to Ukraine, adding, we are approximately 10 days from hitting this critical deadline. Well, if you're nearly exhausted, here's the thing. Fall back. Uh, $33 billion, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for those of you that are wondering, is all of that money going to go to Ukraine? Because remember, we had a stimulus package bill I had previously showed a couple of years ago. It was during the height of the pandemic when we were all quarantined. And so Reynolds just said it was just approved tonight. They approved 39.8 billion for Ukraine right now, and it's on its way to the Senate. So the Senate has to vote. What I was going to say, it says here, Biden, of course, is pushing this, and now the Democrats want to add more money. They're stating here, I'm focused on getting it done with extraneous matters on it and getting it done quickly. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said of the latest proposal. He said the measure may adjust some in the process. Details of the measure were described Monday by people who could speak only on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss it publicly. The House's Tuesday schedule mentioned the Ukraine legislation, but it's unclear how firm that was. Biden's statement proving no details about the legislation, saying Congress is likely to pass it in substantially the form I proposed. Now, what I was saying was, if you've seen some of these measures before, guys, for instance, you had what you see in some of these packages, like I showed back in 2020, when there was a stimulus package on the floor, 2021 rather, I believe, and it was to give one of those in that package that they had for Congress was monies that they were giving to foreign nations as well, millions of dollars. You remember that, Bishop?
Oh yeah.
So we have a president and a Congress that is so quick to give aid to foreign nations, and yet our homeless veterans who are under these bridges, the interstates, the people in Skid Row, where your Maxine Waters, I believe it's not far from her district. Her district is one of the poorest in the nation, by the way. Same thing with Clydeburn. All of this stuff that's going on, we're giving money to foreign nations like Ukraine who have I'm going to say it, have a hostile environment, especially when it comes to Africans, people of color, from what I have seen in the video. They have said nothing and done little about this, but we're giving money to the Ukraine.
Well. I'll say this. You're absolutely right. The Ukraine is a very. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna be point blank honest with you. It's a racist nation, not just even with blacks, but they talk about Asians were victims of it. During World War II, they were very much involved in cooperating with the Nazis in order to round up Jews to send them to concentration camps. In fact, the Jews said they would prefer to be in the hands of the Nazis than the Ukrainians. They were that cruel. They were that heartless. They were that mean towards them. They actually said this during World War II. We know what happened just very recently when this outbreak between Russia and Ukraine. Everyone was allowed to leave and go to on the other side of the border to Poland and other nations, but Black Africans and even some Asians were not allowed to get on the trains and get on the buses to go across the border. In fact, they were given guns and told them to stay on this side and fight for their lives. Now that's the kind of approach that they have. One of the Olympic stars of their nation, who was a black man and also a lawyer, he won the gold medal. And when he got home, when he got off the bus from the Olympic Stadium and got home to the Ukraine, they called him a monkey and made fun of him and tore the medal off of his neck. This is the kind of people that we're dealing with here. And yet, but of course, America, I mean, they have no affinity for us either. So because Africans are being treated poorly doesn't mean that they won't go and help their blue-eyed cousins, their blue-eyed blonde-haired cousins over in East Europe.
what you're talking about is the Reichskommission Ukraine. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but yeah, this was the Nazi occupation of the Ukraine before
And
the German.
they were very willing to cooperate. Very willing.
Yeah, before the German invasion, Ukraine was a constituent republic of the Soviet Union, inhabited by Ukrainians with Russian, Polish, Jewish, Belarusian, German, Romani, and Crimean Tatar minorities. It was a key subject of Nazi planning for the post-war expansion of the German state. The Nazi occupation of Ukraine ended the lives of millions of civilians in the Holocaust and other Nazi mass killings. It is estimated that 900,000 to 1.6 million Jews and 3 to 4 million non-Jewish Ukrainians were killed during the occupation. Some estimate that the 5.2 million Ukrainian civilians of all ethnic groups perished due to crimes against humanity, war-related disease, and famine, mounting to more than 12% of the Ukraine's population at the time. So, yeah, they were part of this.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And the only thing that stopped them was actually Russia, because the Russians were actually our allies.
Right.
Allies.
Doing the Soviet Union. Stalin was our ally. Right.
Right. And of course, if you know anything about war history, General Patton wanted to go to war with Russia next.
Right. Yeah.
He didn't like the Russians at all. But yeah, he said communism is for the next war.
Well, the same with MacArthur. He wanted to go to war immediately with China, and that's why Truman called him back to the States. He was the commander over there in the Pacific, and because he wanted to press the war, at this time was the Korean War, he wanted to press it into China. Harry Truman, who was the president then, who succeeded Franklin Roosevelt, he called him home and really demoted him, and he retired naturally after that. And that all is history. So you're absolutely right. I mean, these wars, and look at the, once again, we're trying to get into the war, this Ukrainian thing. I heard Nancy Pelosi. She went over there with a delegation of House of Representative members, and she's talking about our war, and we're going to fight to the end. What are you talking about? What are you saying, Nancy? Is our intention to actually get into the war? Is that our intention? We already gave them $14 billion. They asked for, they were going to give 33 million more, but after Nancy came back, now they're giving $39.8 billion to this nation on top of the $14 billion. So you're almost talking about, I mean, we're getting past the 500, we're getting past the $50 billion stage. In fact, it's so bad now that there's a headline that's saying that because they're making this decision, they pushed the COVID issue on the back burner. It's been pushed to the back burner. Funding for COVID has been pushed on the back burner. Here we have a nation that is, food shortage. The gas prices now is averaging $4.39 a gallon, the highest in the history of our nation. The highest in the history of our nation. Gas prices, food shortage. You can't even get baby formula anymore. Baby formula shortages for your children. I mean, this is the kind of nation that we're in. The housing prices are astronomical now. The stock market is crashing, going lower and lower and lower. We're on the verge of a recession. We're borrowing from China to loan, because we don't have no $40 billion. We're borrowing from China in order to support this Ukrainian, which puts us in a deeper hole. We're trillions of dollars in the hole now in terms of our deficit, with no hope to bail out because we keep on giving people something.
We've been trillions of dollars in debt.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse. I mean,
we're getting further in the hole. Yeah. It's like every kid that's born is going to owe about, I saw it was that someone did some numbers. Every child that's born in the United States eventually today is going to end up owing at the moment of birth like $55,000. It'll come in debt.
See?
Yeah.
They were proposing a $10 billion pandemic relief package. Now that's been pushed to the back burner. They're not going to do it now, not even the foreseeable future, because they're giving $40 billion on top of the $14 billion, $13 billion to Ukraine. So, I mean, you know, a place that's 5,000 miles away. We're teetering on a third world war, a nuclear war. That would be if it was against Russia. That would be a nuclear war. Who would survive a nuclear war? If they hit Louisiana, we in Pennsylvania. This is how devastating it is. You hit Louisiana, we would feel the impact of that all the way up in Pennsylvania, and vice versa. You'd feel it if they hit Washington, D.C. You'd feel the effect of atomic bomb hit Washington, D.C. Louisiana would be destroyed as well. That's how devastating it is. And now we have the atomic bomb as one of the lesser powered nuclear weapons. That's an old nuclear weapon. That was during World War II. Now we got so many advanced nuclear weaponry. We have nuclear weapons that will kill people and the houses will stand up. The houses will stand up.
Biological weapons. Yeah, we have biological weapons that can kill people.
There you go. So, I mean, we're messing with, I mean, this ain't Afghanistan. This is not Iraq. This is not Iran. It's not Syria. This is Russia. Russia has more nuclear weapons than we have. And we're going to mess with them. And it's about, we taunting them. Oh, you know, they can't even beat the Ukrainians. They could. Oh, they could. They could beat them. They could very easily beat them.
Yeah.
Ukraine don't have no nuclear weaponry at all. They're trying to get airplanes. So you know they have no nuclear weapons. So there's just no taunting of them. It's bad. It's bad. Let me tell you. You're going to keep on teasing. So, oh, you can't beat them. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. We can't beat Ukraine. Okay. Okay.
We haven't. I think we have probably. We damn sure. If we can't beat Russia, we damn sure can't beat China. China.
Oh, no.
China is the new power of the world. Actually.
They are.
Yeah.
And they're doing it in a way that's not military. They're doing it in a way that
they're taking over Africa
economically. And they're taking over Africa.
South Africa in particular, yeah.
Yeah, and they're taking over our nation. We owe them so much money, they rule us. Remember during the Olympics, Nancy Pelosi told the Olympians from the United States, do not talk against China in their humanitarian problem that they have, killing and imprisoning millions of their own people. Do not talk about it. They were ordered not to talk about any political situation in China because we owe China too much to be that much against China. You notice we don't talk much about against China. We talk about Putin and all that. We don't say too much about China. Oh, we say a little bit here and there, but there's no real overt criticism of China because we owe them too much.
Right.
Anytime you owe somebody $40 trillion, you can't say but so much about them.
So you're right about that. 91% of people said Vivica A. Fox was out of pocket. 90%. So out of 11 votes, yeah, the majority has spoken.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a large majority.
I got two more topics, Bishop. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Donate to the Cash App. I'm here with Bishop Scott, host of Real Talk with the G-Men on Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, ladies and gentlemen, on Blog Talk Radio. We're going to talk about this because now, how many of you probably have heard of Judge Hatchett, Glenda Hatchett, who has had a judge show for 13 years.
Yeah, I remember
for a number of seasons. She had another show called another TV show that came on subsequently after Judge Hatchett ended, called The Verdict with Judge Hatchett, and I believe that's still on. That was back in 2015. Her law firm is still, she still has a law firm, a national law firm called the Hatchett Firm, and she's based out of Atlanta, Georgia, just like Kevin Samuels. Now, yeah, Judge Hatchett is fine as wine. Well, apparently the Georgia sheriff thought she was a little too fine, and he wanted to dip his finger in that wine. So this is coming out of from WJCL 22. Georgia sheriff charged with sexual battery after incident involving prominent judge. So we're gonna go ahead and play this video.
This is WJCL 22 Morning News. See us now.
Right now on WJCL 22 Morning News.
No innocent civilians were injured.
That's not the video.
Georgia and the Low Country.
Okay, I thought the video was up here. It's not. So what essentially has happened, ladies and gentlemen, is that the Cobb County Solicitor's Office, I'm familiar with Cobb County because my brother lived out there. He lived out actually in Mableton, which is in Cobb County. The Cobb County Sheriff's Solicitor's Office has charged Bleakley County Sheriff Chris Cootie with sexual battery after an alleged incident involving Judge Glenda Hatchett. Hatchett, star of the Judge Hatchett show that ran for 8 seasons and founder of the Atlanta-based Hatchett firm and a popular judicial commentator, was a guest at an event. According to WSB, the incident was witnessed by others at the event, including Thomas Brown, the former sheriff of DeKalb County. WSB identified Hatchett as the victim because she wanted her story told. The Blakely Sheriff's Office issued a statement which read in part it would be improper for Sheriff Cootie to contact the other party at this time, but it looks forward to personally expressing his regrets for any offense at the appropriate opportunity. Essentially, what he was accused of, and I have the video here, was grabbing the breast of Judge Hatchett. So we'll go ahead and play the video right here. Ladies and gentlemen, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Yeah, Judge Lynn.
Chris Cootie is accused of groping the prominent Judge Hatchett at a sheriff's convention earlier this year. Well, now a man who witnessed the incident is speaking exclusively to Channel 2 Cobb County Bureau Chief Michelle Newell. Michelle is live in Marietta outside the courthouse. Michelle.
Yeah, Brown told me not only did he witness this, but he says he had to physically intervene.
I was angry, and my first reaction was to do a little more than just take his hand off of her.
Former DeKalb County Sheriff Thomas Brown sat down with us to talk about the day he says Bleckley County Sheriff Chris Cootie groped the prominent Judge Glenda Hatchett.
She was there as my guest. I was obviously upset, obviously mad. He was obviously intoxicated.
The alleged incident happened at a sheriff's conference in Cobb County earlier this year. Brown says he was introducing Judge Hatchett to the sheriffs at the Renaissance Atlanta Waverly Bar.
3 sheriffs came over to the stand-up table. Sheriff Cooney being one, the president of the Georgia Sheriff's Association being the other, and then there was one other sheriff.
Brown says he turned his head away from Sheriff Cootie and Judge Hatchett as they were talking.
As I turned to my left to focus back on the two of them, I saw his hand go down on her left breast. I grabbed his arm, threw it off of her chest, and basically say, "What are you, adjective, think you're doing?" And that's basically where it ended.
Brown says he immediately removed Judge Hatchett from the room. The next morning, Brown says he had a stern conversation with Sheriff Cootie, who was later charged with sexual battery.
She's very passionate about telling her story at some point in time, if for no other reason for the hundreds of young ladies out there who may have been victims of some type of sexual assault, but have not said anything because they're afraid to do so.
We tried contacting Sheriff Cootie. Hi, this is Michelle Newell with WSB TV. Can I speak with Sheriff Cootie? We were told he wasn't available, but in a previous statement released after Sheriff Cootie turned himself in, Sheriff Cootie said he takes the charges seriously and will comply with all legal obligations placed upon him.
I'm a key witness, and I want the judicial system to be respected. And so at some point in time, I may have to say something in court. But I felt like I needed to say something because, the accusation is now out and it's unsealed.
Sheriff representative told me the board has not met since the alleged incident happened, but they plan on meeting next month and they will discuss this. Reporting live, Michelle Newell, Channel 2 Action News.
Okay, so sexual battery, I saw his charge as a misdemeanor. I saw this earlier today on Dr. Richie's show. I don't, just to be clear, I do not watch the Young Turks, anything sponsored by them. I've seen some of the videos that Dr. Richie has done, and I'm starting to see some abortion rights videos pop up, and that gives me cause to pause. But anything that has the Young Turks logo on it, I'm always treating with caution. But shout out to that Sheriff Brown, who intervened on behalf of Judge Hatchett. And again, I'll say that these are allegations. The accused has his day in court. He is presumed innocent until proven guilty. I'm not familiar with the law of battery, but from what they're saying is this man was intoxicated with doing that. And more than likely, if it's a misdemeanor, it's not going to be something where he's going to do jail time as a sheriff, but he might be forced to step down as sheriff, obviously, with this charge pending on him. I don't know. This is Cobb County we're talking about, but Bishop, what do you have to say about what you saw?
I think that's really shocking to me. You're talking about a sheriff and you're talking about a judge, and how can it? I mean, to me, it would be like me would put my hand on a bishop. I mean, I'm a pastor, and me put my hands in an appropriate way on a female bishop. I just you respect the position that really your superior has, and I would look at a judge as being a superior of any law enforcement agent. I mean, he's an officer of the court as well. She's an officer of the court, actually, which is a more rank than would be, and you would know better than me, Gavin. Wouldn't that be a higher position than a law enforcement agent? I mean, don't they?
Elected official, judge, yes, absolutely. Judge, actually, they have the deputies in their courtroom, and they order them about when they want to exercise their will, force their will on members inside the court to be quiet, or if a phone goes off, they'll send them to do it. So, sometimes the sheriff's office is inside the courthouse. Usually that's how that is. Sheriff's office is inside there. Being drunk is no excuse.
No. I mean, I would still know. I mean, to me, once again, it's showing two things to me. Here's a man of authority, a white man at that, of authority, taking liberty with a black woman of ironically, of a higher authority. Would he have done that to a white judge? Even if he was a little intoxicated, he wasn't. And really, I don't even know if that, just like you say, even if that is true, and I don't know if he was that intoxicated where he would be losing control of himself and grab a judge's breast. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't
have. I'll put it to you.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have grabbed Judge Mills Lane. I'm sure he wouldn't have, or Judge Wapner. Perish the thought if he grabbed Judge Judy.
I was going to say Judge Judy. Well, I would feel sorry.
Yeah.
I would think something wrong. Sure enough, he must have been sure enough drunk then. But nevertheless, he wasn't just drunk. He was intoxicated and high and everything else.
He would have had to. He probably would have to have had an aneurysm if he had grabbed.
But I mean, I just think it's just showing you. I mean, this world. When we've talked about it before, Gavin. I mean, the things that are happening in this world is just it's getting outrageous. There's no filter anymore. There's no decorum. We used to have manners and ethics. You remember those days where these type of things would be that would almost be unheard of, that a sheriff would grope a judge. I mean, what's happening, and so many other things that you've talked about before. Even this thing with Kevin, the things with what's happening in court and with churches being vandalized and all of that because of decisions that are made. I mean, this country is just going. I don't know what we really are about ready to be in the category of used to be's. If we keep this path going, we're going to be a country like Babylon and Rome and Greece and other places that used to be great powers that now is in a history book in the third page to the left in the back of a book.
Yeah.
What we used to be. Talking about becoming great again. We're getting ready to lose a little bit of prestige we have now, let alone being great again.
Yeah. Well, I find that America right now, we've been, our culture has gone over the cliffs. We just haven't hit the rock bottom. We're still descending.
Yeah. Well, we're moving that way. The little things happening now, we're moving that way.
Darius would have knocked his ace. I don't know who his ace is. Sober. Yeah. Knocked the Ace Ventura out of it. Okay. All righty then. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. So I want to get down to my final topic. I want to talk about this. Is you guys may have seen this trending on Sunday. Chris Paul gets ready to throw them hands on a fan for touching his family. So we talked about the judge being allegedly groped by a sheriff, and now we have NBA basketball future Hall of Famer Chris Paul, CP3, dealing with a man touching his wife and mother. I should say a young fan because this is a kid.
Yeah, look like a boy. Yeah, look like a young
But
man.
what happened apparently, you're at the game, CP3 confronted someone, and this is when he, I think, was being kicked off he had fouled out at this point, and what happened is that some fan, apparently according to the investigators, I'll show you all what the investigators said, but here is what actually happened. This is the aftermath.
What happened? What happened?
Now you look here and said, "Did you just tell I see you later?" to that little kid, and someone wrote, "Did you question the response of someone who reacted to someone else putting hand on a loved one?" So, according to the reports, and I'm looking here on TNT, Kenny Smith says that Chris Paul's mother, Robin, reached out to explain what happened with the young Dallas fan. She said the fan was obviously inebriated and kept tapping her on the shoulder and wishing her a happy Mother's Day, even after she politely asked him to stop. So this is apparently the video before the CP3 incident surfaced. Somebody posted this, so I can't hear or see anything. I see Chris Paul, what looks like Chris Paul going to the stand, and you see someone touching her there, apparently, or someone reaching out there. I don't know, but they have, there was an investigation that was done, and CP3 obviously was mad because he tweeted this out, Bishop. He says, "Want to find players for saying stuff to the fans, but the fans put their hands on our families. Fuck that. Excuse my French." But he was obviously upset at what happened. An investigation was done, and they had removed the fan and banned them for until 2023. So what happened is that the Mavericks did an investigation and found that this fan was apparently trying to give the unwanted hug from CP3's family. So Dave uh, Mc, Dave McMenamin, Dave McMenamin reported that a Dallas fan put his hands on Paul's mother and that his wife was also pushed. Paul's children were in attendance, and according to McMenamin's source, they felt very unsafe. Quote, Paul echoed those sentiments on Twitter after the game. The Mavericks issued a statement Monday afternoon explaining that situation that took place, saying the two fans attempted to give unwanted hugs to members of Paul's family. The Mavericks also said those fans will be banned until 2023. American Airlines Center and Dallas Maverick security and executives have concluded the investigation into the incident involving the Paul family. Two unruly fans attempted to give unwanted hugs and have conversation with members of the Paul family on the public concourse of the American Airlines Center. Security responded immediately once notified by the family, and the fans were swiftly ejected from the game. The fans involved in the incident will not be allowed to return to the arena until 2023. Let me say this. I have seen unruly fans before many times at many of these games and functions. And a lot of fans think because, and I'll say this, Bishop, because of social media, a lot of fans think can get away with everything they say on a keyboard. You don't have to answer to those parties when you're talking smack to them. But then when you go to a game and you throw, for instance, I've seen them dump popcorn on Russell Westbrook when he was walking into the tunnel. I saw LeBron James kick out some fans because these two fans sitting courtside threatened his son. I seen, of course, one of the incidents I remember I'll never forget was the Malice in the Palace back in 2004 when Ron Artest is sitting on the sitting on the announcers table after he fouled Ben Wallace and Ben Wallace got teed up. He sits down and then a fan throws a beer bottle at your Ron Artest, to which he jumps into the stands and attacks the wrong fan, unfortunately. But melee ensues. They had to call a game because everybody was on the floor, even the fans. So a lot of these fans get out of line with this stuff when it comes to these sports, and I've seen it happen before. Now, New Orleans, of course, we're a little bit while we are loose with the goose. We don't. And I'm not going to say there aren't fights that take place, but normally it's friendly here. We're the South. We welcome. We're very welcoming. But here, apparently, the Paul family, they didn't like it. It's their right. They didn't want to talk to the person. They didn't like being touched. Please stop bothering me. And who knows? They probably, I'm just guessing. It could have been when they had already talked to the person, probably were polite, and then it just got to a point where they were just being annoying. Like, you don't want to bother people. You're muted, Bishop.
That's what the article said, that the mother turned to him very politely and said, please stop doing it. And it looked like he was intoxicated or had been drinking something. Once again, this drinking thing, honestly, that should not be allowed in certain settings. I mean, that seemed to be a big problem for people. You get a little bit tipsy, get a little bit drunk. You want to get huggy, and let me tell you something. To be honest with you, once again, I hate to do this, but I see it as being a factor here. Here this young white boy. I guess both of them were white. Looked like they were both blonde-haired boys. Grabbing and wanting to talk and touch and all of this. And Happy Mother's Day, but you can say Happy Mother's Day without touching me.
Yeah.
I would like to see a black boy turn to the white woman there that looked like she was a relative of those two boys and start doing that to her, hugging her and wanting to kiss her or whatever else she was doing. Wanting to be very personal with her, wanted to greet her and all, touch her arms and all that. It would have been a mess.
Well, it wasn't just Chris Paul's mother; it was his wife who was also shoved too. So
right. So that's two people. Yeah, that's both of them being.
But,
and so I mean, as a son, and you're a son as well. If somebody's touching my wife and somebody touching and trying to touch my mother, and you're touching the two most and this is Mother's Day. Keep in mind, Mother's Day. You're touching the two most precious mothers in my life, my wife and my mother, my own mother. And she's telling you to stop, and you just ignore her and keep on wanting to hug her and touch her and greet her and all of this. It's just, you have to respect people's boundaries.
Right.
You have to.
I want to play, Bishop, I want to play some of Shaq and what Charles Barkley had to say. So,
listen, we're all from the same place. We all have cousins. When you come into a hostile arena, one of your cousins ain't doing nothing, you got one job to do. Watch my wife, watch my kids, and watch my mama. And if anybody get out of line, you have my permission to touch them up. Point blank, period. Fans don't know how to act sometimes. Things like this happen. You can't expect our wives and our mothers to, be there to enjoy the game and, people bullying them and all that stuff. So Poop Dog and Mookie, they was always with Miss Lucille, and she ain't never had no problem because they had my permission. Say something to my mama, you get touched up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the fans are great. The fans are great. There's always going to be one or two or five that's going to get liquored up or want to insult people. I don't.
Insulting is one thing. Putting hands on somebody's.
Well, we don't know the extent who put hands on who. To be honest with you, they could have put hands on them first too. We don't know the extent. Of that. I don't like accusing people going by crap we see on the internet.
Yeah, he talks about. I don't like to know about crap stuff on the internet. Though. They're gonna touch them too, Ernie. We don't know. We just don't know, Ernie. Krispy Kreme Barkley. Now this was.
I mean, that's crazy. That Charles Barkley get on my nerves. Oh yeah, the mother. I'm sure the mother put her hands on the boy. The old mother.
This is the same Charles Barkley that spit on a little girl at a game.
Look, there you go. There you go.
He the last person that should be talking. He'd be fighting. He would fight all the time.
He was always in a fight with somebody.
Yeah. He was in a fight with Shaq. You have my permission. I want to touch your ass up because y'all take on my mama. You got my permission. You get out of line, touch him up. That's what I would do. Kobe, can you dig it? Well, personally, Charles Barkley. Personally, I don't see like the mother could have touched him too, Ernie. We don't know. I don't like seeing the strap on the internet, but the fans will say something, Ernie. They're always gonna say something, Ernie.
But you're not supposed to put your hands on anybody. But I don't know what happened. But when you go in a hostile environment, there's always going to be some look it up fans. I've always said, hey, we could put an end to all this stuff. Some of the stuff these fans say, let's take them right down to center court for 5 minutes. I've always said that. Some of the crap they say to you, hey, just give me 5 minutes to center court with them until say, you ain't gonna press no charges. Nobody gonna get it. Ain't nobody gonna be sued civilly. Say what you just said to me right to my face right here for these 5 minutes. I'm gonna beat your ass, beat the hell out of you.
It would take you 5 minutes.
I'm gonna take my time. I'm not gonna beat them up quickly. I'm gonna jab them a little bit. Then I'm gonna lay the haymakers on their ass.
Well, obviously, I hear you, Foreman. Charles Foreman.
In the real world, in the real society, other than the gladiator,
we purging people.
Not happening.
We're purging people.
I mean, I think your earlier point was 100% right. And it's not every game. It's probably 1 out of every 10 games that you have a fan that gets too inebriated or just coming to vet something like that. It's not every game, but I think that's where the arena. It seems like they did a good job. They escorted the people out. If there was a confrontation, like Charles said, we don't know how the confrontation started.
They admitted it was unacceptable what happened.
It's just unacceptable, and that's really the only. I mean, everything is reactionary. That's the unfortunate part about sports in this kind of environment. It's always reactionary. You can never prevent. You have to react to it, so you have to see what happens and then go. The fan ran on the court in Minnesota. It's reactionary. You can't prevent that from happening. It's like unless you play in a cage. So you can't prevent it. But you can.
I want to say one.
But you can react, and I think in both cases, the reaction, at least of what the NBA is trying to do, is that's probably all you can do.
Ernie, I can remember when we were playing Philadelphia, the Lakers, and it's like, if you win this game, you can't celebrate on the floor. And they sent a memo to us. So I called my father, sorry, I said, Daddy. They said, they don't want to celebrate on the floor today. So he called me the next morning. He said, I need 5 tickets. I said, what you need 5 tickets for? I'm bringing some of my homeboys down here.
Can you dig it?
Butch in,
Oh,
Fred in, they was ready to fight, boy.
Yes, I believe Ernie Johnson. Here's Ernie Johnson. I believe Chuck has something to say on the floor. Chuck, what are you gonna say?
I don't know, Gene Jackson was the gang name on the back. Warriors, come out to play.
I will say this: with any fans of the visiting team, you got to be careful on the road because there's too many of them. You have to handle it the correct way. You have to go to security and say, "This is the situation," because you don't know where people are coming from. You got 20,000 people around 10. And
that's right.
You know how
20,000 people from 10.
How those mob things start. If something happened, everybody joins.
Interesting how he counts backwards.
Anytime you bring your family or anybody on the road, you need to talk to security. First of all,
numbers scare me. First of all, numbers scare me when I go count back. That's why I count backwards.
You never take your family and kids. I'm like Shaq said, I'm taking my bodyguard with me.
Like two sleepy Bigfoots talking.
Man there. Some of this stuff.
You gonna watch it?
When I played for the 76ers, some of the stuff they would shout at our own team. I played with a guy who got 2 quick fouls every game. We asked him why they do that. He says, because I can't stand what they're saying to me in the stands. They don't talk to me when I'm on the bench. I mean, and we're like, what did you just say? He says, man, I just can't handle the pressure. They're screaming. They're talking about my mom and my kids and everything. But when I get them 2 quick fouls and go to the bench, they leave me alone. So not that you.
So now, Chuck, what are you saying? Who's the name? All right. I'm tired of Barkley. Listen to what Shannon Sharp had to say.
Jen Hale will not lose control. The derogatory language. If sometimes the fans get involved and they try to get in under the player's skin and then maybe get him out of his ball game. But I don't understand how being disrespectful or saying the derogatory language or possibly I don't know, Skip. More information will come out. Chris Paul said they put his hands on his mom and
this is one. It looked like a high
school kid. And so fans are getting the behavior, Skip, at sporting events and in general, is getting a little bit more unruly. And Chris Paul has every right to be upset. Skip, my grandfather used to say, boy, I bust my ass for this family. He said, but I'll bust somebody else's ass about this family. That's Chris Paul. Chris Paul does everything that he does for his family.
I love your grandfather. I wish your grandfather would raise me.
You know.
My grandfather once said, son, I bust my ass for this family, but I'll be damned. I'm going to bust somebody's ass for this family, Skip. Chris Paul has every right to be angry, Skip. He can't do with this, Skip. See, Skip. No, these fans get out of hand, Skip. We're so tired of this, Skip. It's amazing, Skip. Everything the fans got to think they can do. Because they think they can talk to me like this. I'm a trash talker too. I'm the biggest trash talker of all time too, Skip. Number 84, Shay Shaw. I talk trash talk all the time. I trash talk all the time, Skip. This is ridiculous, Skip. No information gonna come out, but we're gonna find out, Skip.
At the time that was growing up, I can assure you, there was a lot of people in his.
Come on, Skip, don't do this.
Bad, oh bad. Gavin, you something, man. You got that dude. You got all 3 of them guys. You got them down bad. What is that? It's a comedy hour tonight.
Skip to the loo, skip to the loo, skip to the loo. Come on, Skip.
My God.
I had to listen to the voice. It takes me maybe about 2-3 years before I listen to him, but Shannon and I can do Charles Barkley. He easy because you just don't think when you're doing Charles Barkley there, Bishop. Personally, you don't think. You just say personally and terrible all the time and ask for Ernie. Ernie or Kenny. Never ask for Shaq. You always ask for Ernie. And Ernie, he moderate everything. It's just terrible. But standing is real easy. I just gotta pay attention. His batteries were hard, it's just like I could do doing Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor is basically a fast Bill Cosby because Bill Cosby, he talks just real slow and he's not to talk to pudding, but of course if I want to talk a little faster, and I raise that voice up and just wave my hands, nigga. I'm just Richard Pryor because I'm high, Jack. You know, because I was high. I don't want to see no more police in my life, Jack.
That's it. That's it. That's it. That's what with you. That's with it.
And Mooney is Mooney is called.
Do Paul.
Well, you can't just become Paul Mooney. Nigga. You got to embrace Paul Mooney. Nigga. You know, Paul was just hard. Wait, hold on a second. Let's Paul. Wait, let me get.
This is good. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. His cat.
Okay. So, this is Paul Mooney. I've died. You know, this nigga. I've died in the wrong heaven. I've apparently seen nothing but you white angels here. I see all you white angels. I see no black angels. The black angels must be making the milk and honey up in the kitchen. Hell, no. This is not right. It's not right. It's not right to be here. Not today. Not today, tomorrow, or even yesterday. It is not right. I wrote for good times. I wrote for Sanford and Son, nigga. I have dealt through racism for 79 years of my earthly life, nigga. I should not be in white heaven. No, nigga. Where's Richard? I want to complain with Richard, and I want to see Flip because you know I was close with Flip. Where's Red? Red is around here. Red's got to be around here. He's probably looking up the skirts of the female angels. I know him real good. You know, Bill Cosby. I was looking out for Bill Cosby up here in heaven. That's why I got him released. I got him early released because his conviction was overturned. Let's be real. Let's keep it real. It was not Andre Constant. It was Andre Constrand because that was an ugly looking bitch. That was ugly. Ugly. You know,
That's Paul. That is Paul.
Yeah,
Richard
Pryor used to copy Bill Cosby early in his career. Absolutely. In fact, Don Rickles even told Richard Pryor that you sound too much like Bill Cosby earlier on. And what happened was when he went to the Aladdin Hotel out in Las Vegas, he was performing in front of Dean Martin and a few others, and he had an awakening. Like, what the hell am I doing? He didn't say what the hell. What am I doing here? Had a breakdown and walked off the stage. And Paul Mooney actually is the one who introduced him to Huey P. Newton and took him up to Oakland. And they got, as he said, we got educated. That's how that happened. But getting back to the topic, so what did y'all think about CP3? Like I said, CP3 had absolutely every right to be upset. And, you know, I think the fans get out of hand too much. I still remember, here's the thing. There were people that were more mad. I've seen people that are mad at Chris Paul for coming at the kid. Well, here's the thing. I don't think he even knew how old that kid, how old he was. Frankly, didn't care. If you're old enough to throw hands on somebody, touch someone's family, you're going to get dealt with. And I don't think Chris Paul, honestly, because that kid obviously left before Chris Paul, I don't think Chris Paul was actually going to find that kid and fight him. But, you know, at least not realistically. Maybe emotionally he was going to, but realistically, because they kicked him out. And I mean, you saw the security, they handled him with care. Normally with us, like they did with Charles Oakley, when Charles Oakley got into it with security at Madison Square Garden. Y'all remember what happened here? No, hold on. Let me play this before I get out of here, Bishop. But y'all remember this incident? This is Charles Oakley when he got kicked out of the Knicks game.
Nice entry pass, and Jordan. Everybody looking over there. Apparently, there's a
Charles Oakley gets mad.
Charles Oakley is involved in something. They need security.
Is it on film?
Security is there. Oakley now being.
Yeah, hold on. I'll play it.
Oh, here we
This
go.
is an ugly thing to see about it.
Well, watch this. This is what happened with Oakley. The owner of the New York Knicks, he's a terrible owner, doesn't like Charles Oakley because he was criticizing him. He was kicking people out of Madison Square Garden for just criticizing the team. And he's one of the worst owners of in the NBA, NFL, anybody.
Charles Oakley is involved in something. They need security.
James Dolan.
Security is there. Oakley now being.
You see that? Remember? Look how they got Oakley out of there.
To see about a guy who played here for over 10 years, who's a terrific player. Oakley and the Knicks organization have not seen eye to eye recently. Oakley been very critical about the organization not happy with that.
The fans, of course, are cheering for him.
over the last several years. You hear some fans chanting Oakley. He was a beloved player. But all the players were distracted by it. The officials tried to have the game keep going, but it was happening in the second row.
You saw that?
Yeah.
What is your reaction to this Oakley incident?
Well, it's to the New York Knicks.
No, get your hands off me. They wanted him out because he was booing or criticizing stuff. So look, he puts his hands on him. Get off me, man. You get off me. He was having them 94. He was having them playoff flashbacks.
Yeah, look at hey.
Yeah.
Man, he towered over them.
Yeah, look at it.
They took all them guys to take him out.
Get off me, man. Get off me, man. Get off me, man. Get off me, man. You get off me. Yeah, but it was bad. People obviously were upset because of that happened. But yeah, I remember that. Is he a minor? I don't know. Unsunken one said sell out Rivers. He's talking about Doc Rivers. Yeah, what? Yeah. First off, they say that because he's married to that white woman, married to a white woman. It's not Blake's fault. It's not Blake's fault. This is Doc Rivers. It's not Blake's fault. Nobody's fault. It's not Joel Embiid's fault. It's my fault too. It's everybody's fault. Sixers lose, it's all our fault. We could have done better. Who knows? It's not everybody's fault. I don't know what to do. I don't know. What if I could make my voice raspy? I need some hot tea. Who knows? It's better.
With lemon.
It's not Blake's fault. It's not Joel Embiid's fault. It's not Ben Simmons' fault. He got trapped up. It's not his fault. Yeah. That's right, Skip. It's not his fault. Bob Dolan, you a piece of crap, Bob Dolan. You kick out Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley was a man. Charles Oakley was big. Man, hold on. Dennis actually asked this woman a question. He has this here. I'm sorry, I'm just going through here. Does abortion cause rotten crotch? What?
You call what? Does abortion cause?
Who had abortions and they regret that?
Yeah.
The same woman who this case Roe versus Wade is about.
Mm-hmm.
She ended up having that baby, and gave that baby away, and she's regretted it ever since.
Yeah.
There are women who go into these abortion clinics, and they don't realize.
Shout out to brother Dennis.
They're going to stick a tube in there with a knife, and they're going to chop that baby up and suck it out. And they don't realize that at 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. And let me tell you something else it does. It cuts up the side of your womb. So when the placenta is trying to stick to the side of the womb, it can't stick. So a lot of these women who have issues with holding on to birth is because they've had abortions in the past. You see, and here's another thing. It also creates a problem with cleaning, self-cleaning. That thing's supposed to clean itself. You laughing. But there's a lot of brothers in here who can tell you that we have a smell problem in the black community. If I'm lying, I'm not. You know what I'm talking about. Hit the number one button. If you guys know, I don't want to talk about it. This is something. Okay? But it's a smell issue. Don't pass the smell test. Okay? And a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's been mechanical failure down there in that area because of a lot of these unnecessary procedures. I'm telling you. Has abortion been good for the black community? Black Rose? With 21 million children aborted since 1973. Has it been good for the black community?
No, I don't know. I can't say yes or no because I still.
You just said no. Follow your first mind, Black.
I said no because I was seeming like that's where it's leading.
It's a horrible thing.
It is a horrible thing.
Killing unborn. Say this with me. Killing unborn babies is a horrible thing.
Shout out to Dennis Sperling, but I didn't know it when he said, does it cause rotten crotch? But yeah, it does. Apparently too, since you talked about that last week, he said it caused stink coochie. The ghost up in that fifi. Yeah, man. I'm saying this we say this in front of a bishop, guys. Bless you all.
I gotta do a couple of Hail Marys on this one.
Yeah, but he was right about that too, because a lot of people, when they have abortions, if they're botched then and they do them, even if they're successful, it can complicate matters later on if they want to actually have children. That does happen. But
what would our situation be numerically if we, and even economically in every way, if there were 20 million more of us? Keep in mind, 1973, a person born in 1973 would now be what, 40, almost 50 years
48.
old.
Yeah.
He'd be almost 50 years old. So I mean, it's a sad situation. They'd be middle aged. They'd be having their own children and grandchildren. At 48, you would be a daddy and a granddaddy at 48. So I mean, then you multiply that with 20 million. Then you multiply that since 1973. We would not be the number two minority like we are now, would we? Latinos have caught up with us and gone beyond us. We're 12.4%. They're 19.2%. For years, we were the number two minority. Now we're number two. We're number two behind white, and then came Latinos. Now we're dropped down to number three in terms of total population in this country. Whites, Latinos, and then us.
Let me ask you something before we get off though, too, because I did see this video. I didn't see the whole video, but I saw the headline. Judge Jill was talking about how on the Real Dana that they were going to debunk the myth that abortion was the number one cause of death in the Black community. Per your research, is it true that it is the number one cause? I mean, I've done my research on it, but I want to know what as you've done your studies on it.
Well, I don't know much
right.
Number bigger than 20 million people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. I mean, that's a lot of human beings.
Well, if it's 35, if you go by the Center for Disease Control, they clearly state if African Americans are 12% of the population, there's 350 million Americans, legal or illegal, in the United States. And you're saying we account for 35% of that. Just multiply 35% in your calculator into 350 million. What's 35% times 350 million? Now, this has got to be wrong. But it says 122,500,000. It might be so. Excuse me. If you make up 12%, let's do this. 350. No, I know what I did wrong. Okay, 350 times 12% equals 42 million. So, what's 35% time? So multiply 35% by 42 million.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about 14,700,000.
Okay.
So that is still another generations of children that are lost that could replace African American that are as what Bishop as Reverend Childress has stated. He talked about the replacement population where race or group replaces each own based off the birth rate. African Americans are at the bottom of it. There's something wrong with not being replaced.
That's right. Because I mean, you think about it. If you're talking about since 1973, 1 million people were lost. Then you got to say, then it's a bigger number than what we can imagine, because you're talking about 20 million beginning in 1973. So now if you're beginning at 1973, 48 years ago, let's say each of those persons had 2 children, not a whole bunch, 2 children. And then you talk about, and then 48 at the beginning of the number, 1973, they could be grandparents. So let's say they got 2 grandchildren of the 20 million. So that's 4 in each of those 20 million. They get 4 people, 2 children, 2 grandchildren. And that's a low number because a lot of people are going to have more than that. But I'm saying the lowest number, or 1 would be the lowest number. But let's give it realistically. They would have two generations of 4 of one of those persons. Now you multiply that by the 20 million plus the 4 that they would have with the 2 generations added to that. That's how many people would have that were aborted. Now ain't talking about the ones that are already here that were not a part of the abortion thing. We would rival the white people. We would be like they're saying in 20, like Biden said, by 2040, Latinos would outnumber whites. Well, we would outnumber both.
Right.
We would outnumber both by 2040.
Yeah.
But now you talking about 1973 to 2040, you know, how many children would that have been?
Lots.
But instead, we're now number 3 behind the white and the Latinos, and economic and everything. We're at the bottom. We're below everybody. The Latinos, the Asians, the Native Americans, everybody. We're below everybody in terms of economics. But in terms of number, we were always number 2. We're no longer number 2. And if we keep on the rate we're going, we won't even be. There'd be other groups that'll ease up on us there too. And we will have to go to the Latinos, like Biden told us in 2040. We're going to have to go to them, the AOCs of this world, if we want to get something done for us.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad. Unless we turn it around, it's going to be up to us. Don't look to the government to turn around. Biden made it clear. I ain't doing nothing for you, nigga. I ain't doing nothing for you.
Right.
I'm going to do for the Native Americans. I'll give an executive order for the Native Americans. Latinos, I give an executive order for them. I gave an executive order for the Latinos. But don't you come to me and talk about nothing, because you got to wait until at least 2040 when the Latinos take over. So the best we can do is wait till 2040, hoping the Latinos. Keep in mind, the Latinos have a mindset like the white folk. Latinos want to care for Latinos.
Yeah.
So they don't advocate like the black caucus. They advocate for all minority groups. No other caucus does that. You know that, Gavin. No other caucus. You read their guidelines in their statement of purpose. None of them include the other minorities. That phrase. The Asian caucus talks about Asian and Pacific Island issues. The Latinos talk about Latinos issues. They do not include other minorities too. We're the only one that has in our statement of purpose. The Black Caucus is the only one that has black folk and other minorities too.
Yeah. Clyde
And
Murray.
to be honest with you, they do the other minorities before they do us. That's the weird thing about that. They do the other minorities before us.
Right. Y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. We thank the Bishop for being here. Bishop, I really appreciate it.
And thank you.
Yeah, we all we got. We gotta vote these people out. No, we ain't going to Africa. Where are you gonna go in Africa? White supremacy is everywhere, like Tariq Nasheed says.
Yeah. And the Africans don't really want us either. So they don't want to.
A lot of us they won't welcome us either.
They don't want us to load up.
That's fine. Get your passport. That's fine if you want to go out and do stuff. But
we built this country. That's my grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, and great-great-great-great-grandparents built this nation. And I'm going to get all I can get from this nation. After I get all I can get from this nation, if I want to go somewhere else, I'll do it. But I ain't going to leave what my great-grandparents built. To go somewhere that I've never been in my life and who may not really want me either. And where will we go? Where will we go? Which country will we go to? Unless you want to stay in the desert in Africa somewhere and just point the way you want to go, because Africa is a continent. That's not a country, folk.
Right.
It's not a country. It's a continent with 50-some countries in that continent with all kind of dialects, tribes, and all that. What tribe are you from? Well, my DNA says I'm part Nigerian, and I'm part Malay, and I'm part Congo, and I'm part this, and I'm part that. You're a bunch of pieces.
Pick up the pieces. Pick up the pieces.
Oh, hustle man.
Amen, computer robot. Yeah. All right, we're gonna get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. But y'all tune in.
Thank you, Gavin, again.
Y'all tune in to the to his show tomorrow on Real Talk with the G-Men on Wednesdays from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll see y'all in the next one. I'm gonna ask y'all to please donate to my. You see the ticker at the bottom. Donate if you love this, because I see some people said my show is entertaining, and please support me to keep me going. We don't, of course, have a monetized channel. YouTube has blocked monetization of this channel. So if you want to donate to the Cash App, to the Venmo, the PayPal. Those are all great places to donate. Also, go to NawniesCreoleBlends.com. Bishop has his seasoning.
I love it.
He loves it.
Chicken tonight. I had some chicken tonight with it. Sprinkle it on.
Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawnies goes great with every dish. Hey, put on that chicken, put on that salad, put it on. I told him even about boiled eggs. If you boil an egg and cut it and eat the protein, it's even good.
I scramble my eggs and I sprinkle a little bit of that on it. My scrambled eggs taste so much better.
Yeah.
It's delicious. It's delicious.
And then all else we got, I need you to please go to my Spotify, Apple, and iTunes. Check out Video Song. And of course, our theme song. Got to get on up, ladies and gentlemen. So since we've gotten them down, it's time to get on up. Bishop, thank you. And of course, set us up. We'll see y'all on Thursday night. Y'all got to be here on Thursday with me and Skip, because we're going to give you that restitution. Chris Paul going to get his restitution. So you got Gavin Reese all up here. Give y'all the truth and spit that house fire. Y'all got to support him. Because, the brother came on even while he was sick, Skip. He battling congestion. He took some Zyrtec. He said, I'm going to be all right. Skip, he said he was going to be all right. Skip, he's on here. He's doing it. He's doing it for his people. Y'all support him. Y'all get to that Cash App. Y'all get to that PayPal and Venmo. Y'all tune in Thursday when you have Sean James on. We're going to talk about some more craziest in Random Comment Thursdays. I'm going to get my restitution. Shay Sharp 84. Player. Good night, everybody. We all love you and support you. Come on, Skip. Let's get on up, Skip. Let's get on up, Skip. Come on. Oh, yeah. This I say, drop it down.
Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll be. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. you do the four corners, electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop, or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up,
baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Good night, Skip. We love y'all. We're gonna get our restitution. Come on, y'all. It's late.